Hey guys, so today I have my friend Lucy here, and she has an awesome YouTube channel completely dedicated to super simple Lightroom tutorials. And today we're actually doing one of those tutorials, but on my channel. So I feel very special right now. And we're talking about how to get a vintage effect on your photo in Lightroom.
Yeah, and the photos that we're gonna be editing today, we just took in a tutorial over on my channel about how to take great photos right at home. And Lizzie actually just moved in here, so this is a testament because there's really not a lot.
There's not a lot. You're seeing like the very polished small area of my apartment right now that is this couch and that table. Everything else is full of boxes, so it required a lot of effort. So we're gonna show you some of those photos. One in particular we're gonna edit right now because you came here for the vintage edit, so let's do it.
Yeah, let's go. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna warm up the temperature of the photo because that's sort of a classic look of vintage looking photos. You can either go for the warmer tones or you can kind of go the greener tone, but the green is hard because sometimes you can look kind of sickly and weird. We're going for that warm, cozy look.
Yeah, I feel like the greener ones can be a bit moodier. With the warm couch and everything, we really wanted to work with that, so we just went warm.
What warm?
The next thing we did was we actually just brought down the clarity ever so slightly because with film, it actually creates this really soft look. So we wanted to just soften everything up and not make it too sharp, really.
It also makes my skin look nicer. When you're doing a vintage edit, the tone curve is really, really important because this is where we can give your photo that matte film effect. So what we have here is sort of the opposite of an S curve where we're really bringing down those highlights, kind of making it less contrasty, and then we bring up the shadows so that it has that film look.
So moving on to the HSL/color panel, we didn't do too much here, and really a lot of the adjustments we made were just for this particular photo and what we felt looked good. But as you can see, we really only adjusted the blues and the oranges. The first thing we did was we made the blues a bit more teal because I feel like the teal and orange look is really synonymous with a vintage effect.
Yeah, it's super popular.
Yeah, and Lucy was wearing a blue sweater, so we just made it a little more on the teal side. And then we saturated it a bit more because we wanted that blue to still pop and contrast with the orange. And in the luminance panel, we just brightened up those oranges a bit because that's just what we felt looked good, but it definitely supported the whole teal and orange look.
So I love split toning, and for vintage edits, it's a great technique to use. So in the highlights, we've added in the greens there, and then in the shadows, we've put the reds. And that's because, again, those two colors are very synonymous with a vintage look. Now, the one thing here is that split toning, you have to be really, really delicate with it, or it can just look really bad.
It can look really bad.
Like, it can just be like...
Do you want to see how bad it can look?
Yeah, show them how bad it can look.
Yeah. That is terrible.
Yeah, that's awful.
Don't do that.
You just need a very, very little amount and it will come through in your edit.
You could stop here with your edit because really all you've done so far is really just master the colors and a little bit of the softness that a film or vintage effect would give you. But if you really want to commit to it and go that one step further, you can play with the grain, you can play with some light leaks with a gradient filter, or you could even go into Photoshop and add some dust filters.
So for grain on a vintage photo, personally, I think if you're doing it, like, go, like just do a bunch of grain.
Just rough grain.
Yeah, just super rough grain, like put however much you want on the photo, but it's totally like a personal taste thing. I just think if you're going for that vintage look, just commit to it.
Because if anything, that grain is also gonna make your skin look
yeah, it's gonna smooth everything
just smooth everything out because all we want is flawless skin. Really, we should have just titled this flawless skin tutorial.
How to hack making your skin look good.
Just covered up with grain. The other really cool technique we used for this photo is we added some light leaks with a gradient filter.
Yeah, and it's cool because it's not a way that a lot of people use the gradient filter for, but like you can use it to do this and it's really neat.
So all you have to do is kind of drag a tiny gradient filter, or you could even use the radial filter if you want. And what we did in this case is all we did was adjust the temperature slider and we made it a bit more yellow because we felt that was the color that complemented this image. But as you guys know, these light leaks in film can be red, they can be green. Another thing you can do is if you don't feel that the temperature slider is giving you enough color, you can actually just select a color over here and that will give you the desired color and look that you want. And then you can just play around with the exposure and that kind of thing.
The cherry on top for a vintage edit is adding that dust and distressed look. So all you have to do is open up your photo photo in Photoshop. And then I actually have my own dust filter pack, so I just bring that file on top, and then you get that really, really cool look.
And Lucy actually has a whole video on how to create your own dust filter pack, or dust filters, and actually how to use her pack itself. And that'll be linked somewhere up here.
Up there.
Up there. Go watch it. Go watch it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you've learned a little bit about how to create your own vintage effect in Lightroom. And what Lucy and I have actually done for you today is, if you don't want to bother doing this yourself, we've made this exact vintage look a preset for you and thrown in a dust filter.
We got your back.
Filter. Yeah, we got your back, guys. Link to get that is in the description below, and make sure you head over to Lucy's channel to see the other photos we took during this shoot.
Yeah, there's some really good ones.
Yeah, they're really, really good, and what the final edits look like with this vintage preset applied to them. So head over to Lucy's channel for that. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, subscribe to both of us, because, you know, we try to be nice to you guys. And we try to be nice to you guys. And hit the notification bell to get notified when I post new videos every week, and we'll see you in the next one.
Cover up all the flaws.
Just cover up all your flaws.
Yeah.
With vintage. Vintage all over your face.
What?
All the takes that you're seeing are filmed in between the fire alarm going off.
Short window where we're like, it stopped.
It stopped. Go, go, go,